where we were able to get mystagogical and philosophical last night with our students. We really dove into the question of, does God exist? And if someone challenges you, how can you defend this? You know, like a lot of kids, whether they go to St. Pat's, the school, whether they come to RF, whether they did summer faith formation, they believe in God because everyone's always told them that God exists. You know, they've always believed that. Maybe they'll say like, well, I read it in the Bible that God exists, or my parents believe in God, or I've always gone to RF and everyone's always said that God exists. But as adults know, when you get to high school, when you go beyond high school, that doesn't cut it anymore. There's going to be people that are gonna ask you why you believe in God, and so many times we don't have an answer other than, well, because the Bible tells me so. Other than that, we don't know. So we dove into St. Thomas Aquinas' 5 ways or 5 proofs to know that God exists. And it was a challenge for the students. I was a little bit nervous going in that they wouldn't know how to dialogue about this, but I'll tell you what, you know, when we got into God being the unmoved mover or the uncaused causer, or necessary beings or contingent beings, argument by design, the argument of degrees, when we got into those arguments or those proofs, the students really had some things to say and really saw how they made sense. So I hope that it was an encouragement to our students to have a reason for this faith. And not that the Bible's not true. I'm not saying that, or that the things we learn at church and all those things aren't true, because those are definitely true. But when it comes to dialoguing with folks who may not believe in the Bible, you can't hold up the Bible as your authority because it's not their authority. Or you can't hold up your parents who are believers in God and believers in Jesus because of theological reasons that they don't. That's not the authority for these other people that are going to be asking you. So we use natural law and we use reason, which is the great thing about being a Catholic. It's not by faith alone that we believe in God, but it's by faith and reason. The reason that there's a reasonable explanation that God exists, as well as a reason of faith as well. So it's a both and as opposed to an either or. The kids had a fantastic time, and I hope it challenged them. And I told them that tonight's going to be challenging. So if you want to know that God exists, you better be challenging yourself. I encourage them to look on YouTube, look on podcasts. There's plenty of information for these students out there to dive into. And as parents, I'm going to encourage us again, like, we have to be the ones that are continuing to challenge our students to, we're the primary catechists. I'm going to say it over and over and over. We're the ones who challenge our students. We're the ones who are responsible primarily for the faith growth of our students. We can't just ship them off and say, well, there you go, you went to 5-day school or you went to RF, you should know everything. No, we have to continue to challenge and prepare our students for everything that's going to come their way, especially when it comes to the faith. So we hope to see you guys again next week.